Here we go, guys. The finale of Super Dirt Week in 2009. This is Sunday, October 11th. Have a whole bunch of photos of the pro stocks, but had to move this bin along. I want to make sure it doesn't take too long to get to it. I got a few of the guys as they were getting ready to go. So anybody who was in a good enough shape where they could get out of their car and pose for a picture, well, I was going to go ahead and do that if I could. Again, pro stocks at Super Dirt Week on Sunday were off in the best race of the entire Super Dirt Week. And man, this was back when they used to get 60 or 70 of these things. And man, they looked just as good as any NASCAR stock cars. Great looking cars, nice drivers, easily accessible, and more than happy to put on a show. Hey, how about the Potato Chip King, Jack Terrell? He's still helping out people today. There's the money shot. There's the grandstands that we love so much at Syracuse, no longer there. And of course, right before the pro stock race, they already had some races earlier in the day, some hot laps and stuff, so it's time for the safety crew to grab a little dinner if they can beforehand. And obviously somebody had a slow cooker nearby. So here we go now. I believe this was the last chance race at this point because the pro stocks were lining up for their feature caution flag out. Last chance race on Sunday always saw some carnage and things like that. Hopefully this one wasn't that way. Were the teams that were already qualified, where they were all set up on pit road already and getting everything ready, like Eldon Payne Jr. was in the show already. He was ready to go. There you see the Flack crew. There's Vinny Vitale and his wife Bridget getting ready to have some fun later that day. We miss you, Vinny. We hope you're doing well. Oil change in the pit area. 6 quarts that I see of Valvoline, probably more than that if they got the sump system, because those tanks would take up a lot of oil. Justin Hare's getting ready, Rich Galata with his crew up on the wall, Roy Bresnahan, the lady you see in the background, she would sing the national anthem later that day. Jack Spino, of course, always looking sharp, just a cool guy all the way around. Pat Ward and his crew going over some last minute things. There's Richie Tobias. He won the last chance qualifier, not the first time that he had done that, so congratulations to him driving the USA 1. There's Chad Brockman. I remember when Mighty Taco was his sponsor in that car. There's some fine servicemen. Of course, it was the Salute to the Troops 150. Again, I wish I knew what that vehicle was. There is Doug Manmiller and the aforementioned Chad Brockman before the race. There's Manmiller next to his car down on pit road. Chris Dolak, and the lady reporter is Sarah Hunt. I always liked hanging out with her because Allie, I think, was maybe, let me think now, how old was she at that point? She was 2, so I was kind of thinking that she might follow in Sarah's footsteps and get into broadcasting. Pete Stefanski was the big winner on this day. He got a chance to chat with Tim Pitts. And there is James Stefanski, his brother, down there with me. I had that one vest, and I kept it for a long time because it had number 1 on it. You were supposed to turn it in at the end of Super Dirt Week, but I ended up keeping it for myself there, and had the all-access pass, which I didn't always get at that point. Kenny Martin was the Pro Stock Hard Charger. Nice, him and his family right there. But now it was time for the modifieds, and everybody's lining up as always. Grandstand packed full of folks, and of course nobody ever sat in those lower seats. You'd buy that seat, but then you'd move to somewhere else to actually watch the race. There were a lot of people that had scaffolding up and things like that. So it was very common for people to buy a seat but never actually make it to the seat, as they would wander to other places. Remember the big scaffolding outside at turn 3? And of course you could get to the infield, you just couldn't get to the pits. So a lot of people just hung out and hung out with their friends and everything. This looks like the wave lap. You can see the safety crew waving to the drivers down there in turn 1. And here's the green. See Tim Fuller on the pole here. And of course what always happened, you got a little bit of dust, and then when the dust settled, you looked to see if there was somebody on the racetrack. An ambulance was needed for this one. I'm not sure exactly who that was at that point. Stuart Friesen taking an early pit stop in his pizza logs ride. And you can see racetrack breaking up a little bit in some spots, but that was Super Dirt Week. It was never perfect, as much as we might like to think that maybe it was. And there you can see with the pace car down in the lower left that there were some rough spots on the front straightaway. If I remember correctly, this was the year they had done the tractor pulls during the New York State Fair, and it just left an area that was just way too rough. and the sun setting on Super Dirt Week. Ran a little bit late because remember we had some weather issues that week. So with the camera that I had, the little point and shoot, as the Isabels used to call it, the Walmart special, didn't have the money for a big camera, nor did I have the room to put it around my neck because I had my little recorder with me. So I always had some little cheap $79 Nikon or something. So once it got dark, I was shooting. I hope you enjoyed this. We got a lot more stuff from Super Dirt Week. Again, I only showed you a small percentage of the photos. Hit that blue E down there. That'll subscribe you. Hope you guys like this, and we'll talk to you again soon.